In a dream, you were mad at me.
I think you told me that.
Yeah, I think I
No, I'm
texted
not
you.
mad at you.
Good. Well, then you should stop being so mean to me in my dreams.
Yeah.
So work on that.
To quote the immortal George Feeney,
Uh-huh.
I am not responsible for Dream Feeney.
I like the idea of us bringing up Boy Meets World every week. Somewhere.
It's just such a good show.
It's such a good show.
Welcome once again to Noah's Snark, where two former religious types and current snarks take a look at religious media on its own terms.
I'm Hillary.
I'm Josh, aka the song that doesn't end.
Oh, interesting. I think we're referencing the same thing.
Probably. And as always, before we talk about what we are doing this week, do we have any hits or misses from a previous anything?
Not that I am aware of.
Are you going back a year and a half and being like, oh yeah, I said this slightly wrong?
No.
Okay.
My memory's not that good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason you were listening to like our first 3 episodes and you're just like,
No, I would never.
turns out Kirk Cameron's a great actor.
Hilarious. No, I would never lie to the audience like that.
Alright, so let's talk about what we are doing today then.
Josh.
Mm-hmm.
God's Zoo.
Yeah.
Which is another from the family of Gaither.
That's right. It's just The Homecoming Kids is apparently a series.
Okay.
And this is God's Zoo.
Do you know if it's all these same kids?
I don't know. There's nothing you could do to make me care about that. Like, to find out that information. No, I'm never gonna know that.
Cool. I'm very happy not knowing that too.
Yeah, I have to assume so, especially
Yeah.
because a lot of these kids seem to have like backgrounds.
Right.
So probably, but no, I'm never gonna know that answer.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm not usually the type to be like, I don't want to know, but I just don't care.
I don't care. I don't care with you.
Well, let's go ahead and describe this in one sentence.
Okay, I have poor man's Barney plus nepotism.
Okay, that's good. Mine's less good. It's just the most generic children's show ever, but absolutely smothered in nonsensical songs about Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is true. A
Absolutely
lot of
true.
the other stuff, Salty, for instance, they've got songs, but they're singing straight up hymns, or, you know.
They did a lot of hymns.
Yeah, they just did a lot of traditional Jesus loves me, this I know. This one's just like, did you know a story about
Yeah.
the ark? And it's like, kill me now, bury me never.
Yeah.
Alright, but let's go ahead and get it over with so we can get out of here.
Okay.
Because when we're done, we're done.
Forever.
Yeah, last
With
episode
this.
on this piece of shit. So poppy music rolls us in as we see that Bill and Gloria Gaither present a theme song. And I tried to transcribe some of the lyrics, but I couldn't understand because it was children singing, and I knew, but also realized more and more, I can't understand children when they talk. Is it just me?
Yes. That's such a weird affliction.
Kids start talking, I don't understand what
You
they
are
say.
speaking nonsense. Go back to your mother.
And these aren't like babies. These are like 9 to 12-year-olds.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't know what you're doing.
Late elementary school, middle school age children. That's hilarious, though.
But I did manage to suss out that they are the homecoming kids, and they will always try to be better friends. And Jesus loves them and you. And the cast is tremendous. It's massive. There's so many of
They
them.
introduce each kid by their first and last name, which is weird.
Mm.
Like, that's usually what they do in end credits, you know?
Yeah.
But they introduce kids with first names only with most children's shows. And we also find out that a lot of them have the same last name, which is where nepotism comes from.
Oh, right.
Including the adults. It's clearly their children. They all think their children are special, but they're not.
I did not notice that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And there's even a few people that are dressed up in costumes, one of which is a blue donkey.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to talk about that blue donkey a lot. So everyone remember, blue donkey.
Blue Donkey looks like one of those crap off-brand character stuffed animals you get at a fair.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like shitty Eeyore.
Right.
Yeah. Because the Eeyore's blue, right?
Yeah. Blue-gray.
It's also important to remember that at least temporarily, George and Vestal, who appear to be an extremely old couple.
Mm-hmm. Who we also already know.
Yes, from Gaither's Pond.
Correct.
But we're going to get there, because there's more than just this.
Yeah.
And now we're opening up to God's Zoo. And the kids hug all the old people who are apparently caring for these homecoming kids. And Hillary points out, apparently are just their kids.
They're all related.
That makes more sense.
Super weird.
But
I'm assuming the one black girl is adopted.
And then there's some sort of random joke about a guy's hair. And this is a guy literally named Guy.
Oh, yeah. Guy, he's one of the dads.
Yeah. He's got long hair, and they're talking about his hair for a while. But again, they're kids. I don't even understand what they're saying.
Yeah, but also, you're on television now. Run a brush through it.
Is it bad?
It's bad. You saw him.
I don't know.
It's just like the lazy hippie long hair. Nothing wrong with it necessarily. It's just, you're on television.
Yeah, get it together.
Yeah, maybe pull it back into a pony or a top knot.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is before man buns were a thing, so.
Well, yeah, maybe on this coast.
Yeah, he's not there yet. I'm sure now.
It was 2000, it's like the year 2000, so.
Yeah, that's way too long ago to be doing man buns.
I don't know, man.
He didn't even know it was sexy yet.
Ugh. I don't like him.
I found out that he's a gospel singer. A relatively well-known one.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah, so this was like their celebrity pull.
Well, they got his kids, too.
Yeah, some guy named Guy.
I don't know which ones are his, but...
But we're talking about his hair and then this puppet vulture monster.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Crashes.
He could not figure out how to film.
Yeah. He crashes into the room and tells the room about his distant cousin who's over at the zoo, the Tasmanian red-tip bluebill kapasa bird.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in town, again, at the zoo.
Did you look that up to see if it's a real bird?
No.
I didn't either.
I assume they made it up because it's funny.
I thought so, too.
Yeah, anything that ends in kapasa bird is probably a joke. Yeah. But also birds do have the best names.
That's true, yeah.
So you actually
Especially later, since we see the bird and it's like a sparrow.
I'm pretty sure it's stuffed.
Could be, but it's like, it was a real bird at one point. It's not like a fake.
No, I thought it was a fake bird.
I don't think so. I think it's a real bird.
I'm going to have to look at that thing again.
I think it's like...
I thought it was a stuffed bird.
It could be, taxidermy.
Maybe. I mean, it was a well-done stuffed bird, but I thought it was like a toy.
We'll have to look at that.
Yeah. But anyway, the bird is very famous. He's a star. And so the vulture monster is going to go to the zoo to see him, and he wants all the kids to come to see the event. I don't know. They get a personal exhibit at the zoo, so everyone's going to the zoo. Who cares? Like, yeah. This is the premise for a really stupid episode.
They didn't even try to come up with a logical reason.
So tell me what the problems are with the filming of the puppet.
Well, Josh, it seems like I don't know if they're trying to film it to make it look like this bird is filming himself, but the camera stays so close to him and he moves so erratically that it's basically like if it's like if Michael Bay were to direct a children's puppet show, because the camera's basically in his mouth the whole time. Yeah.
And he's got one of those like annoying puppet voices.
Yeah.
It's the Tasmanian red-tip bluebill.
It's super loud. Very loud and erratic movements. And the camera is on top of him. I'm guessing because maybe he's not a very long built.
Yeah.
And if
it's an actual hand puppet, they have to be very, very close.
And they didn't know that they could put him behind things, I guess, to hide the person. Yeah. It seems like if they were to like pan out for even an inch or two, you would see an arm.
Right. And now remember how I told you to remember George and Vestal? Because, they may not be relevant. Well, for no reason at all, George decides to tell the kids that him and Vestal won't be joining the children at the zoo because they have literally other plans.
Yep, gross.
And I'm really
did they just make a fucking sex joke?
What the fuck is wrong with this gross old man?
I mean, we find out later that's not what they were implying, actually, but it's so blatant. Like,
it's so fucking weird.
How did this pass?
And the kids
Layers
are just
of production.
The kids are fine.
And the kids are like kind of make faces like they think that they know what they're talking about too.
Yeah.
Which is they're like, oh.
I assume that all the kids, the homecoming kids, are not permanently sterilized because they're forced to envision what these plans are.
Oh my god!
And they're just like, well, there goes all that.
There goes that.
Never hitting puberty
Fine
after
with those
this
kids
one.
not reproducing. They've been damaged.
But it's just such a fucking weird... And, while we do know there's other plans that aren't necessarily fucking, we don't know that wasn't also on the list.
The way he said it...
Was very much fucking.
There was some... Yeah,
it was very gross.
It was lecherous.
No one needs to know this.
I don't like
old bastard.
Oh, he's so old and so weird.
But now...
We're not ageist. I love old people. But this guy is like
this
1
guy's
foot
gross.
in the grave. And...
And anybody who...
Zero screen presence.
Yeah, and anybody who is going to tell a room full of children that especially are not their children that they're about to fuck...
Yeah.
You're gross.
You're gross.
It's not a matter of how old you are. It's just you being gross.
Yep. I can't see past it.
You could... exceptions being if they are your kids and they're in your house and you're like, yeah, you gotta go.
Right. This is very early in the show.
Because me and your mom need to
You gotta go.
we need some alone time. You gotta get the fuck out. That's appropriate. They're not appropriate, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Those are your kids. You can say whatever you want to them.
You've got other plans.
Yeah. Just get out.
No.
I've got stuff to do.
No, sir.
They're going to get escorted to the zoo with Guy. Because really the only thing the kids were worried about was well, if we don't have adults, how are we going to go to the zoo?
Yeah. I mean, they already had a car secured, so they didn't really need an adult.
They had a vulture monster.
The vulture had a limo.
Yeah, so what do they need an adult for?
They also had that donkey.
Yeah, donkey's a grown-ass man.
Donkey's tall.
Just put him in a trench coat and be like, this is my dad, he doesn't talk a lot.
Just put all the kids on each other's shoulders.
There you go. Guy's going to escort the kids around, and when they all leave, we go to George and Vestal again, and he pretends to eat a fly. He hears a fly noise, and obviously bad ADR.
Yeah.
And he looks around, and he wow.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
What they're trying to do is cheekily imply that they are the characters from Gaither's Pond.
Right.
That they are. She's a duck or a swan? Duck?
She is a swan.
She's a swan, and he's a frog.
Or she's a goose, because she's
she's a goose. You're right. That's right.
And this is their attempt at a Marvel-level cross-promotional media franchise. They're like, oh yeah, we have two shows.
Creepy wink to the camera, and I hate it.
Yeah, it was weird. And the kids now crowd into the limo because the vulture monster wanted to arrive in style, and we get 2 sustained minutes of children screaming.
Yep.
In the limo, and I'd rather be dead than listen to this for any amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here I am.
Yep.
For this.
Someone who works in retail in the suburbs, this is a sound I'm used to and hate.
And now we're at the zoo, and zany sound effects accompany all the children as they split up to see their favorite animals, like alligators and baboons, and I'm pretty sure one kid said bunnies.
Maybe.
And I'm not making fun of that kid, actually. I appreciate him for being so honest and not choosing a more traditionally cool animal, like a Komodo dragon or something.
Or elephant, or giraffe, or lion.
Because he looks like one of those kids who's super cool guy. But he's like, I'm gonna go see the bunnies.
Are you talking about blue shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck yeah, go see the bunnies, man.
Yeah, 2 of these kids have some screen presence, and he's one of them.
But, you'd figure that kid is going to be like, I'm going to go check out the sharks or, or something violent.
Yeah, I like bunnies.
He's like, I like bunnies.
Yeah,
okay,
cool.
You got cute wild bunnies?
Wild bunnies.
No, I know,
but yeah.
They're larger than normal with big old legs.
Those are hares, I think.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I consider all of them bunnies. I could be wrong.
They're all bunnies.
There's rabbit, there's hare, and all of them are bunnies.
Right. Jackalope.
There you go. Vulture creature tries to herd them to his cousin, the K-Pasa bird. But Guy tells him to just relax, because the kids are going to see him eventually, so just, let them do their thing for a while. And now we get an interlude, where one of the children doesn't understand how Noah managed to get all these animals on the ark.
Good question,
and
kid.
Even further, and even further, how did he keep them fed?
Yeah.
So
he starts questioning the logistics of it. I appreciated that.
Mm-hmm. But, of course, they just say, it's a miracle.
Magic.
So we're cutting to our first song in the show, and it is not the last. No. It is not even close to, what is there, a dozen?
Not the last in the next 10 minutes.
I know. And it's
There's at least a dozen.
Yeah. And it's about Noah's Ark, of course, and it's God's zoo was in a big ark. God's zoo was made of something and bark. God's zoo didn't park for 40 days. It was really weird. For 40 days didn't park. That way it rhymes with was in a big ark.
Right. Very rudimentary songwriting.
You would think that for the impetus of this song being not understanding how all these animals managed to fit onto the ark, a single boat, might bother suggesting an answer. Like they're singing a song about it.
That's not what we get here.
But no, it's just a literal descriptor of the concept.
Nothing on this show will ever do that for you.
Yeah, I know. It's so... Just like, I've heard answers. They're not good or sufficient or remotely plausible.
Right.
But like, Ray Comfort, for instance, I believe, has offered the notion that there were just a few types of animals. So he didn't need every species. He just needed, like, bunny.
Right.
Sort of alligator. So you didn't need every type of
more
alligator.
things like genus, just like a handful of genuses.
Yeah. And then after the Ark,
or families or whatever.
which was 6,000 years ago,
right.
all of those animals just magically evolved super quickly
Yeah.
to various types of species.
Right.
Because
the
despite
acceptable evolution.
Despite rejecting evolution,
right.
You have to believe in hyper-evolution to actually believe that there was Noah's Ark and that it was remotely big enough to fit every type of animal on the planet.
Right.
Or at least even if you split the types into relatively broad categories.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So it's like, that's dumb. But okay, let's just assume. Let's just move on, because we're not talking about Ray Comfort today, thankfully.
Yay.
We now meet the mean ancient woman. I don't know her name. She's just ancient, she's old, and she's mean. Who gives the orders around here? She's talking to her workers at the zoo, and they're told to go clean up the zoo, especially all the elephant shit. And of course she doesn't say that, but she tells them to go clean the elephants. And the man assigned to elephants, he mutters to himself. Because, he's about to jump into an elephant pit. It's gross.
Yeah.
Those things are as big as he is.
Ginormous poops.
Yes. And that's when he comes across our costume donkey man.
Mm-hmm.
So he flashes back to the time just a few minutes ago when old ancient meanie told him that absolutely no animals could run loose. Because obviously, this man in the donkey costume is a loose animal. So we finally found some source of conflict for this episode. But we're going to cut back to the children.
Yeah.
As they come across one of the boys pretending to be a monkey. And they watch him silently for a moment, only to try to embarrass him for having fun at the zoo.
Yeah, the bastards.
These kids are all assholes.
Yeah.
Because he's just doing the thing everyone does, where you like pretend to
right. He's
you
trying
ape
to
it up a little bit.
Yeah, he's talking to the monkeys.
And they just watch him and they're like, he's so stupid.
It's dumb. Everybody point and laugh.
But
Kids
Guy,
are awful.
Yeah, but Guy, the adult, recovers relatively quickly by pointing out that everybody's silly sometimes, so now we do a song and dance number about impersonating animals. I can flap like a bird. I can stretch like a giraffe.
Yeah.
There are 47 minutes left.
Something about swinging your trunk.
Yeah.
They have little dance moves for everything.
You can always tell when I'm getting, exhausted by something when I start counting the minutes.
Yes, oh my god, I was doing the same thing.
I've noticed this about
Before
myself.
we started, I'm like, oh, only an hour, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, every minute feels like an hour in itself.
I literally, this is the first point I was just like, how much longer is this?
Yeah, no.
Oh, man. And so when the kid song is finished about impersonating animals, I'm going to call her just the Big Meanie. Big Meanie comes by to ensure that they stay on the path and enforce the rules. Mm-hmm. She tells them, you stay on the path. Without rules, there's anarchy.
And now we get to find the whole reason this episode exists is to teach children the 4-letter word obey.
Oh, yeah.
Back to that.
Yeah,
rules are important. Always follow the rules. Don't question authority.
You'd think she's supposed to come off as the insane person, but no, she gets some redemption at the end.
Yeah.
Which isn't... Okay.
Yeah, they're having... Considering she's supposed to be the one running the zoo.
Yeah.
She interacts a lot with this one group of people at her zoo, and she's yelling at them. This is not how you get clientele.
Yeah, we know there's hundreds of other people at the zoo.
Right.
We see some of them.
Do you have something else to do? Some, files? Or I don't know what they do. I don't know how to run a zoo.
There's got to be something. Something to do besides yelling at children.
Right, following one group of children around and yelling at them.
She says, without rules, there's anarchy. You don't want that, do you? And then there's the nerd kid.
Right.
Who knows all the answers to everything. And he,
Of course he's ginger.
Yeah, and he points out, because everyone asks, what's anarchy? And he says, anarchy is a society without a government, and usually it ends in social chaos.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. It's just...
that kid, the kid had his lines down.
Mm-hmm, it's true. And Guy points out that it is very important, like Hillary was saying, to follow the rules. But now we're moving on to knock-knock jokes, and it sucks so bad that I'm not going to bother telling you what it was. They
make the exact same jokes over. It's just animal puns.
Yep.
But the same ones over and over again. What are you doing, monkeying around? I don't remember any of the other ones.
I mean, I get that kids aren't creative, but adults wrote it, so...
Adults wrote it, and they present the jokes the same way several times with no changes. It's just whatever.
Whatever.
Kira.
Now let's move on to the interlude with the K-Pasa bird.
Oh no.
And this is when I first noticed that I fully believe that it is a stuffed bird toy.
Okay.
Just in a cage that they like glued on so it wouldn't move around too much. But either way, it's a simple voiceover because the bird is supposed to be his cousin. And it just says K-Pasa. K-Pasa?
Yeah.
K-Pasa.
Yeah.
K-Pasa.
And it's not moving, so you
Right.
could very well be right. It's just sitting there and...
Saying K-Pasa.
Yeah.
But the vulture monster is confronted by Big Meanie about being off the path as well. And he's commanded to obey the rules. Even if he is K-Pasa Bird's cousin, he too will have to leave once visiting hours are over at 4 p.m.
Which is a really early, weird time to close.
But this is the K-Pasa Bird's bedtime. That's what we learn.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
they're closing the whole park, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. But the comedy beat makes no sense, but K-Pasa Bird keeps saying K-Pasa. So that's how we know it's funny.
Right.
And now the kids are watching the dolphin show, and we get some amazing scenes of captured dolphins being forced to perform for the entertainment of ugly people.
I love you for describing it that way. Dead accurate.
That's exactly what it is.
Fucking Florida.
But honestly, I'm having an incredibly difficult time tracking the supposed plot here, because I really wasn't kidding when I said I couldn't understand children. They have a conversation about these dolphins. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're saying. The good news is it's not a ton of plot here to miss.
The better, yeah, I was going to say, the good news is there's literally, you're saving yourself.
Yeah.
It's nonsensical.
And, I mean, we're watching it on a YouTube, and the
I was
sound
watching
quality...
it on my phone, too, so.
Yeah. And the sound quality is not A1,
Right.
but it's good enough that you can hear most of the adults.
I could hear the kids. I just don't remember what they were saying.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not gonna say it's entirely the kids' fault, but mostly. Like 85%.
I think it's a lot your fault. I don't know if it's about fault, but you should get that checked out, probably.
Yeah, I just, when I say I don't like
You're kid
children,
deaf.
like, people think I'm exaggerating.
I don't like children,
Yeah.
but I can hear them. Yeah,
I can adjust to some,
yeah.
like, especially if I'm exposed to them a lot. It's sort of, I compare it somewhat to, like, moms understanding what their kids are saying. You've seen it.
I used
Like,
to
a kid will
translate for
literally
my brother.
mumble nothing.
Right. I was a translator for my brother when he was
Yeah.
a kid because he had a speech impediment and it was adorable. But
Yeah.
he also got words mixed up and he'd, like, ask for one thing and mean something completely different and I'd have to, like, let everybody know.
Yeah, exactly.
He said toast, but he means waffles. He said salt, but he means sugar.
That's funny. Yeah, same thing. So, like, when you're exposed to a kid long enough,
Yeah.
you sort of get what they're going for, despite the fact that they're not speaking words
Right.
half the time.
Yeah.
And I can do that.
It's kind of like how you get to know your animals.
Yeah.
You're like, I know when my dog needs to go outside.
Exactly.
Right.
And even towards the end of this, I got a little bit better at understanding what the kids were saying. It's just for the first 20 minutes or so, I was like, I don't know what kids are saying. I'm confused. And what are you saying?
You know the subtitles.
Yeah.
You watch everything with subtitles.
Subtitles always makes me think of this stupid joke I saw.
Actually, putting on subtitles and turning off the sound would have been a much better experience watching
that's
this
true.
thing.
That's
Sorry,
true.
but what were you going to say?
This old joke on, like, internet joke sites.
Oh, I
in,
was
like,
going to say, this joke on internet.
in, like, 2003. It was after the invasion of Iraq or Afghanistan or one of the two. And they had this fake news program. And, like, sometimes on the news they give someone subtitles.
Yes.
And so there's these two terrorists who's being interviewed by a reporter.
Yeah.
And one of them is talking, and he doesn't have subtitles. And the next one starts talking, and he does get subtitles.
So
And he's
you
like,
have the conversation.
no. You can understand both guys.
Oh.
But the second guy sees that he's got the subtitles, and he goes, wait, why do I have subtitles? And they're like, we're just making it easier for me. He's like, I speak better English than him. The guy was educated in England. Like, he gets really upset that he's the one with the accent and has subtitles.
It's a good joke.
It's just a stupid joke. It goes on. It's like 2 minutes.
Because
But
that happens a lot, not just in the news, but like in shows, and they'll subtitle one person. I'm like, why was that the person chose? I'm like, I can understand that one clearly. Like, that happens semi-regularly.
yeah, it was funny. Like, at best, he had in this stupid video, he had like a British accent or something when he was speaking English. So they gave him subtitles. He's like, no! Not appropriate. Alright, sorry. That's a random subtitle joke.
But funny.
But funny. Now we just get a song about how God uses animals to do super dope things, like torment Egyptians to free the Israelites. An event, by the way, that never happened. Mm-hmm. But basically this point of the song is, if God can just use stupid animals to do great things, imagine what he could use me, a human, for.
Right.
How inspiring. Are you inspired?
Ugh. No.
We can use locusts to kill hundreds.
If he can use locusts to kill murder people.
Thousands, probably.
He can use my little body.
Ugh.
I know.
I know, that Josh. One bit.
That's how I was hearing things.
And so now the kids are hungry. So we get to see what hilarious adventures we can get into over food. And
there's one girl who's like, her whole shtick is that she can't even hear food mentioned without getting hungry. You remember that?
No.
That was like, it was like one of the earlier kid jokes. Like somebody says, just like, did you say corn? And then she like holds her stomach. I'm like, what?
That doesn't make sense. I mean, hey.
And from then on, anytime anybody mentions any kind of food, she goes, oh, my stomach. I hate it.
See, this is part of why I'm glad I didn't understand the kids. Right. I missed all the kid jokes, which is nice for me.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's why you also didn't. Okay. That's all of the animal puns came from kids' mouths.
That's why I didn't get
the same ones over and over again.
And to be honest, when the kids were on screen, I was primarily just reading body language to get it.
Amazing.
Like, I knew they were being rude to the kid who was pretending to be a monkey.
You were trying to pick up context clues.
Because he was doing this, and like, ooh, 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 and the other kids are like pointing and laughing. And I was like, oh, they're making fun of him. Like, I can't understand a word they're saying. But it's how I roll, I guess. And the nerd kid is asked a bunch of questions that he doesn't quite have time to answer. But Guy points out that regardless of what weird things bodies do, because he was like, why do we sneeze? What's a diaphragm? Stuff like that. He says, bodies are totally wicked, and they could have only been made by the omnipotent power of God.
That's it. That's the only way.
Yep. So now a new song begins, and it's about the amazing machine that is the human body. And once that's over, the kids are again confronted with the big meanie who warns them not to feed the animals. Like, don't you go feeding the animals.
Right.
They are animals. I don't know. And then we get a voiceover from a polar.
No one was feeding the animals. Where did you even come from?
Yeah, she came out of here nowhere, like interrupting their lunch.
Just like hiding behind trees.
They're eating like peanut butter sandwiches.
There's a Capri Sun. Did you see it?
No, but yeah, just, kid food.
Right.
She's like, don't you give any of the food to the animals? And he's like, no one was doing that.
I'm never coming back to this zoo.
You're the worst. But we do get a hilarious moment where a polar bear laments that he really could have gone for some ice cream. I mean, everyone likes ice cream. It's fair.
Right.
You think polar bears like ice cream?
I think they'll eat literally anything.
Including people.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's why I can't hug them.
I'm going to get a pet polar bear. You're going to hug it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to train him. Train him to be cool.
Train him to be cool. Put little sunglasses on him.
Yeah. When he's like sleeping.
I watched a video.
It's his do not disturb symbol.
There's a video this morning that I saw on Reddit of, I think it was a brown bear or a black bear that got into somebody's hot tub. And it's literally like they love getting into people's shit. It's my favorite videos online. And it's somewhere in Florida, and like you watch him, he gets in the hot tub and then he leans back and puts his arms up like he's a fucking human man. And it's hilarious. He knows how to enjoy his life.
Yeah, polar bears are dope. If they weren't so dangerous, I'd be really into them.
If they weren't so dangerous, I'd own several.
Mm-hmm. Some people do own sun bears.
I'd heard that.
Because they're relatively small.
They're a little more docile.
They're pretty docile, and they're like large man-sized, which is not super giant.
Very huggable.
Very huggable.
Yeah.
So, maybe you get a sun bear.
Okay. Well, it's good to dream.
Believe in yourself. Like I believe in you.
I should try harder to believe in myself.
I mean, if assholes in Brooklyn have tigers, why can't you have a sun bear?
That makes me sad. That makes me sad, though.
It should.
Yeah.
It very rarely ends well.
No. They do deserve to get eaten, though.
Yeah, and no one's upset about the people getting eaten. It's the tigers getting killed for it that are...
Correct.
We now get a quick scene of the zookeep chasing the donkey man.
The yakety sax playing.
Yeah. But quickly enough, we get back to the kids talking about how amazing it is that all the animals and plants work together to make the world just right. Never mind, of course, invasive species and extinction events and all that. Everything is just right.
Okay.
It's perfect.
Perfect balance.
Because, of course, another song begins, and there's 32 minutes to go, and I'm goddamn exhausted. The song that they're singing is about how Guy and the children can't make anything cool, like a cloud, or make the lame walk, but God can.
You can make a cloud.
Apparently
I watched
not.
it on the Today Show this morning.
You can make a cloud?
Mm-hmm.
How?
nitrous oxide, and steaming hot, like boiling hot water.
Oh, cool.
Poof. I mean, it won't like sit above your head or anything.
Make it follow me around like the rain cloud from Flintstones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it do that. And of course, this is again part of this whole like God can make the world work. And it's like, have you seen the world? Like most of it's nonsense.
I mean, it works.
Like earthquakes.
Yeah.
That's not either.
Global warming.
But they don't believe in global warming. But they do believe in earthquakes. You can't deny earthquakes.
You can't deny earthquakes. Or maybe it was just like God accidentally knocked Earth.
That's the thing. Either he's completely incompetent.
Yeah.
And doesn't know how to make a planet that doesn't rub against itself and destroy civilization sometimes.
Right.
Or the earthquake was intentional.
And he's a dick.
And he's a total dick. It's like, well, I guess you shouldn't live in that fault line. It's like, how can you possibly make the argument that everything works perfectly together?
I made this terror ball
for
all you to live on, and I'm just going to watch as you try your best to stay alive.
Yeah. Even if you believe dinosaurs and humans live together.
Oh my god, yeah.
Dinosaurs are dead now. Is that perfect harmony? Like,
I don't know.
Entire species go extinct all the time, and you're just like, that's the way it's supposed to go.
They're dropping like flies now, too.
Like, I think that...
The monarch butterfly is in danger. I have to plant some flowers.
Yeah. Like, I happen to believe that the world is a series of chaos, basically. Mm-hmm. Somewhat structured in a way that we can live through it.
Right.
But I don't then have to make reasons for why everything works perfectly. I don't believe it does.
No. Chaos.
Things just work as they work.
Correct.
Alright, but whatever. Let's not go into the theological implications of Guy the gospel singer with the bad hair. And then there's some interludes that happen, but I'm skipping them because children's entertainment makes no sense.
This children's entertainment doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
In general, there is some out there that makes sense.
There's some. It's hard for me, generally.
I love some of it.
Yeah.
We both love Arthur.
It's true. And I never watched a lot of, I guess I'm thinking of, like, this genre.
Yes.
Because kids' entertainment often makes sense. Well, more of the, like, a bunch of kids and some goofy animals and, like, learning Zaboomafoo.
Yeah, I never liked Zoom.
That sort of stuff.
I loved Zoom. Did you watch Zoom?
I did not watch a lot of Zoom. As you know, Zoom. Even as a child, I was bad at kid stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I have a couple.
I think I was in high school when Zoom came out. Or like, that's when I was watching it. I loved it. They did experiments and shit.
Yeah, so that's cool. I watched Bill Nye. I like that.
Bill. Yeah, Bill Nye. And then for the old people out there, Mr. Wizard on Nickelodeon.
I don't have that one. I have Beakman's World.
Very 80s.
Yeah?
Beakman's World was too young for me. Bill Nye was just right, but when I was a kid, it was all about Mr. Wizard.
Yeah.
He hated children. It was hilarious. People posted a video of like...
Oh shit, I think I've seen this.
Yeah. Mr. Wizard being mean to kids.
I think I've seen that. I don't even know who he is, but I think I've seen that video.
Maybe that's why I like curmudgeonly old people.
Because you grew up on them?
Yeah.
Through some other contrivance, another song begins about the creation of the universe. And for me, this was the worst of them all so far.
Okay, remind me what it is.
It was like discordant and chiming, and it was staccato in like a really odd way.
I don't remember this.
It was like, it was the one that looked like a shitty second grade presentation where the kids would show up in the corner.
Oh, this is the days of like God made the earth in 6 days. Yeah. And they did it kind of like, it was like, kind of like the 12 Days of Christmas where it like built on itself.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just...
And then they like repeat back with it, yeah.
And like, I know they all can't be winners. I get that. But at least it's mercifully short. So
right.
At least we won on that.
There were only 6.
6 days.
6 days. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
If he had built the earth in 30 days.
Oh my god. I would be dead right now. So Vulture Monster appears, and they're still trying to get everyone to come see the K-Pasa bird. And the kids insist that they'll be there, and just tell them to be patient. And he turns around in a huff, and he crashes into the big meanie himself. So now it comes to Guy's attention that they have to be out by 4 p.m. because that's when K-Pasa bird goes to sleep. And then, of course, the big meanie yells at all of them because yelling is her only volume option.
It's awful.
To throw away their
Shrill
trash.
Is the word.
Shrill, yes. But she yells at them to throw away their trash despite there being no obvious indication that they would not. Right. Again, they're still eating.
We never saw them throw trash on the ground or whatever.
Remotely anything like it.
Right.
They're just having lunch. They're almost done. Mm-hmm. And she runs over to yell at them about throwing away their trash.
And with all the opportunities that you have, having kids in a zoo setting, there's a lot of opportunities to teach about, preservation and
conservation,
respecting the earth and conservation.
Pollution.
Yeah. And this is the one and only chance they take, which is this dolphin is sick because somebody put a garbage in the pool. But then he's fine later, so it's okay.
Oh, yeah. We haven't gotten there yet. But yes, they're going to talk about this dolphin. But anyway.
I know. Let's struggle on.
We get another interlude of Donkey being chased. And now we see the children running through a wooded area to see some flamingos and duckies and stuff.
Yeah.
Just some birds. And now, this is when Bullfrog Yance from Gaither's fucking pond appears out of nowhere.
Hate it.
And Vestal fucking Gooseman joins him.
If you don't remember, audience, this is anthropomorphic animals.
CGI.
Yep.
Bad.
Really, just animals with human faces.
One of the worst
weird
things
human hair.
We've ever seen.
Worst things I've ever seen, yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. And
I look at crime photos for fun.
And the thing I have to ask is, like, what have I done to us that we understand what's happening here? Because they do no work in this Homecoming Kids to establish what's happening.
Not at all.
There's just a random CGI frog and
what if we had watched this first, before Gaither's Pond?
Yeah, like, what the fuck is this?
Why are there animals? And terror animals.
It's like watching the first episode of the Highlander TV show.
Which I did not. I don't know what that is.
Oh, man. Do you know Highlander at all?
Yes, I know that there can be only one.
Okay, so let me give you a brief overview of the first episode of the Highlander.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
So we begin with Richie. He breaks into the Highlander's house.
Okay.
But they give this brief interlude about how, like, the main character's immortal, but that they don't explain anything about how there's going to be heads chopped off.
They
and
assume
stuff.
people have seen the movies and know.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, he literally implies that heads will roll. He says, with the strike of a sword and the rumbling of thunder, there can be only one, right? That's it, though. So this kid breaks into this house, but the Highlander is having sex with his girlfriend, wife, or whatever, right?
Oh, God.
First off, all giggles. Because apparently when you're fucking, you just laugh a lot.
Well, sometimes it's funny.
It is, but it's like, it's funny for... Yeah, it's just like,
Maybe they're into tickle play.
Yeah, I guess so. But this guy breaks into his house, right? Duncan, the Highlander in this TV show, senses something, because, immortals can kind of sense each other. So he's like, I feel something, and he grabs his sword. Again, you have no context for this. Except he grabs his sword, so he goes out and confronts this thief, and he's about to chop this dude's head off. Because he literally...
naked?
He's got, like, little trunks on or something.
Okay.
But... he confronts him with a sword, and the thief is like, what the fuck is happening? Why do you have a sword? He's like, look, I stole a couple of things. I'll just give them back. He's like, no, I'm going to cut your head off. There's no context for this guy. And then, crazier still, as they're arguing, and he's about to cut this man's head off, a man jumps through the skylight. There's a skylight in this house, and he jumps through it, and he comes down, and he goes, I'm here to kill you.
Wow.
Then Connor McLeod from the movies appears.
Okay.
But we still don't know who anybody is, let alone this new guy.
Oh my god, I need to see this.
So now there's a 2-on-1 sword fight with a random fourth person who's literally, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. And a girlfriend who's like, what the fuck is happening?
So she's somewhat aware of it. Like, she's not shocked.
Right.
She just hasn't seen it before.
Okay.
So she's not like...
She knows that her boyfriend at some point might have to cut somebody's head off.
Yes.
Okay.
She knows that he's a Highlander and he's immortal.
Right.
But it's just this bizarre fucking show. And then there's a stupid passing the torch where, like, at the end of it, they kill the bad guy. And Connor, who we still don't know who he is, really. They explain that he knows Duncan, but that's about it. just is like, okay, well, I'm gonna go do stuff elsewhere. You hang out in San Francisco or wherever this show takes place.
Is it like one of those situations where they showed it on air out of order? Kind of like they did with Firefly?
Mm-mm.
No? So this was meant to be the first episode.
This is the pilot.
Did not give any information.
Yeah, no, they just didn't know what they were doing.
Amazing.
It was hilarious.
What year was this? Early 90s?
This is like the mid-90s, like 94.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to see that.
It's a really goofy thing. And unless you have seen the Highlander movie.
Right.
I mean, I guess, why would you watch the show, I guess? But, like, unless you've seen it, none of it makes sense. And this is my point with this, is unless you've seen Gaither's Pond.
Right.
This just hits you in the face out of nowhere. You're like, what the hell is going on?
Right. Unless you've seen Gaither's Pond, it was definitely a sex joke at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still believe it is.
I think so, too.
Whatever. But these two horrible abominations of CGI animation sing a song about whether Jesus can, would, could save me. Of course, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Because Jesus can do anything he wants. He's God of the universe.
Yeah, he can also not save you if he doesn't like
That's
your
true.
face.
Like, yeah, fuck you, dude.
Right.
Alright, but Nerd Kid sneaks up on Zookeep, who's still after our donkey friend. And I guess because he thinks it was funny.
I don't know.
Like, he just randomly sees a guy and he's like, I'm gonna sneak up on him.
The motivations are very hard to locate.
And now they're gonna go hang out with some elephants. And some woman that they know is already inside the pen. So how'd that happen and why is she here? But who cares?
I don't know.
She's just a person. And Zookeep warns them that elephants are dangerous because they'll spray you with water with their trunks.
That's the worst they can do to you.
And this random woman insists that no, they're quite peaceful and kind. And so he gives it a shot. And as he begins to jump into the pen, he gets sprayed by an elephant right away. Which is exactly what he was worried about. Oh no, they're so mean. He's slightly wet now.
Stupid.
And then it turns out that it wasn't even an elephant. It was the big meanie who just wants him to go do his goddamn job. It's like, it wasn't an elephant. It was me who sprayed you.
But isn't he supposed to go in the pen and clean up poop?
Yeah, so I don't know what she's even...
I don't know.
But he tries to explain about the escaped blue donkey, but she yells at him to get his shit together and fuck off back to her.
Right.
Of course, I'm paraphrasing.
Yes, but that is what's implied, especially with her tone.
Yes. And this leads to Zookeep explaining to the kids what the donkey looks like, and it sounds a lot like a random assortment of parts. And of course, this is another song about how God must have a wicked sense of humor to make animals look so stupid sometimes.
Yes. I think I fast-forwarded through this one,
Yeah,
actually.
it's basically a platypus song.
right.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I could have a long neck like an ostrich or an ass like a wombat. I could be...
Have you ever seen a fluffy chicken?
No.
Because they're pretty ridiculous looking.
Yeah.
And
So-
real cute somehow. And apparently really nice, which I don't believe because I don't think chickens are nice. But also their bones are black.
Ooh.
I know.
I
So
mean,
that's a wacky bird.
Yeah. I mean, dodos were stupid looking.
They are. I wish they still existed.
Yeah. But now it's finally time to go see the Kapasa bird show. But the kids get distracted by what Hillary was talking about earlier, which is a sick dolphin, who is apparently been poisoned by pollution. The dolphin is apparently being comforted by the same screaming woman who's been screaming at everyone this entire time.
Right.
And now she screams at the kids, although she's not trying to, about how clearly she's upset not because of anything else, but because this majestic and beautiful creature is dying, and she hates to see any harm come to any of God's creatures.
Except for when it makes her money in a zoo-type scenario.
Yeah. And except for the God's creature that she wants to take care of so much is being killed by that same God.
Yeah. Also true.
Could literally not have anything die if you just wanted to one day.
Ugh.
But yeah, you're right. They'll totally, capture wild animals and force them to perform.
You put trash in the small enclosure where we've been keeping this dolphin. It's your fault.
Yeah, if it was out in the
Exactly.
ocean, this would have happened too.
Oh my god.
But whatever, there's only 13 minutes to go. So
Yay.
I'm just counting.
Cool.
But a song begins, and this one is about how everything is in God's plan, including all the animals that God makes die for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So cool plan, guy.
It's a plan. Take comfort, kids.
But the song ends, and the dolphin apparently starts to feel a lot better, so it climbs back into the water, and it's going to live, so yay!
Yay.
Everyone happy.
Now it's just depressed.
Yeah, it's just a sad
Back
dolphin.
to just depressed.
Well, I almost died, but I guess I'm here now. And so now another song happens, and it reconciles everybody with the big meanie, but I'm skipping it because I'm just so tired.
Cool.
And I genuinely wrote down, how has my life led to this?
It's a great question. How did I let
feel
you
like-
do this to
I
me?
feel like it's... I don't know what's happening, but I'm so tired. Okay. But now we're at 4 p.m., so the zookeepers have to lock up the Kapasa bird, and in the darkness, the vulture monster gets really spooked and imagines that there's a monster in there with him. You remember this? Where, he's...
Yeah.
There's, eyeballs and they're
Yeah.
cartoon.
The lights go out, and his eyes become animated in the dark. So there's his eyes, and then somehow the Kapasa bird, his eyes just get bigger and bigger, and then turns into some sort of monster, which I thought was actually happening.
No, it's just him being scared of the dark. The kids convince Big Meanie to let them back in so that they can rescue the vulture monster. And they turn the lights on, and the eyes disappear. And he's like, I was just
Scared of the dark.
That's really close to the actual voice.
I'm doing okay. So yay, everybody's happy!
Yeah.
And better still, the zookeeper who was chasing the donkey returns him to the kids. Also, the donkey finally talks, which seems like he would have cleared this up a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Instead of running away from this guy, he'd be like, hey, bro, I'm just a donkey.
Right.
who
I'm just
talks.
a donkey. Also, what are you going to do with that net? I'm 6'7".
Right. I'm 4 feet bigger than you.
Right.
But whatever. The show's over and I'm dead inside.
Uh-huh. Yep. I curse your name.
So let's talk about, and you should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done, you're like one of my best, you're the best person and I just ruined everything.
Yeah, you did.
I'm basically the worst thing to happen to you.
I'm going to need you to apologize.
I am now. That's what I'm doing.
You didn't say it.
I am sorry, Hillary, for being myself. And I'm
Damn
sorry
straight.
that you somehow like me.
Don't let it happen again.
So let's talk about the best and the worst of this.
Let's see. The best is late 90s, early 2000s fashion.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of butterfly clips and overalls.
Yeah.
Got some flashbacks to my elementary school days.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the best I can come up with. That's all I have.
My best is going to be the kid who likes bunnies.
Yeah.
I'm still, proud of that little boy. For
Yeah,
being
man.
like, oh, you want to go see baboons? I'm going to go check out some bunnies.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
They're going to hop
Go
around.
on ahead.
They're going to eat some lettuces. The worst for me has got to be the kid-style presentation of everything,
Mhm.
particularly the zany sound effects.
Yes.
I hate it.
Zany sound effects mixed with nonsensical music.
Yeah.
Mixed with terrible choreography.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. It was embarrassing to watch a lot.
Just like every time a kid runs off and you get like, whoa, whoa. I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, the whole production of it is the worst.
Yeah. So that's what that'll be. So let's go ahead and skip forward because we're almost done
Yeah.
and talk about things that are like this that you should do instead.
Okay. I have one.
I have one.
You want to go first?
Seems like it's the same one.
No, it's not.
Okay. Because mine, the only good kids show, as far as I'm concerned, about singing and having dumb adventures with children and puppets and stuff, was Lamb Chop.
Right.
So go watch some Lamb Chop.
Earlier. Well, I realized after I said that I was going to talk that we were on the same page. For some reason in my head, I'm like, I heard a song that doesn't it never ends, and I was like, Barney. I'm like, wait, that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I mentioned Barney earlier. But
Right.
yes, Lamb Chop's play along is the fucking best.
Lamb Chop is dope. It's the only...
I saw Sherry in concert.
Nice.
when I was
Before
a
she
kid.
died?
Yeah.
Because she died like a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
old. I'm very,
You're like a few years older than me.
I am 4 to 5 years older than you.
You are 34.
I am 35 in September.
Yeah, that's 34.
I
You are
feel
3 years older than me.
39.
You are 3 years older than me.
Basically 60.
I'm amused by, I'm 35 in September. Yes, that's 34.
It is, but barely. Not for much
Okay.
longer. I have to get myself prepared to call myself 35.
Well,
so I
I'm
started
32 in December. That's 3 months later.
early.
You are 3 years older than me.
Ancient. I'm
Okay.
ancient.
So what is your...
Well, this actually reminded me of, I had this, we didn't have cable or anything when I was a kid. And one of my mom's best friends would record things off of her TV and give them to us. So I had this one VHS tape that had like hours of kids programming on it. One of which was, like a kids sing-along group that were escorted around the world by a man dressed in a giant globe costume. And I fucking loved it. The truth is, my mom hated it. My mom hated it, and it creeped her out. And apparently, she was sick with like morning sickness with my brother while I was watching it. So she has these connections with nausea and disdain. But for me, it was like I knew I had every single thing memorized because we only had a handful of tapes, so I just watched them over and over again.
That's funny.
They go to Japan and they go to like Australia and they sing like native songs, and it's like way more informational and like way less bad than this was.
Do you know what it's called?
Yeah, hold on. I can't believe I found the actual video on YouTube. I'm a very skilled Googler. What's happening with Molly?
I put a sock on her head.
Please keep it there. Where was it? Shit balls. You're right, that was very funny. So it's called Kids Songs. And this one specifically...
Is it with a Z? Kid Songs?
No, this was I believe, late late 80s, maybe, so they hadn't gotten cool yet.
Right. Nothing was extreme.
And this one was called I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks like this, Josh.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's,
little kids from around the world.
That's cool.
Sing songs.
So kid songs is your choice for things like this.
It's very much like this, and that is just kids singing with no real motivation. There's not a lot of plot.
Yeah.
But it's better.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
So now let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to do next week.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hand this to you. But first, what if I told you that the movie we're doing has an Academy Award-winning actress, Sybil Shepherd, not the Academy Award-winning actress,
Yeah, I'm
Sybil
like,
Shepherd,
she didn't live in
an Academy Award-winning actress, and Sybil Shepherd, and your favorite Hobbit in it.
My favorite Hobbit? Pippin?
Yeah. Oh, I guess not. Most people's favorite Hobbit in it.
Billy Boyd, number 1, best Hobbit.
So,
wait,
here's
who do you think is my best?
Samwise.
Oh, that's most people's
Yeah,
favorite.
that's why I say most people's favorite.
Yeah,
Hobbit.
no.
But you had a good choice.
Thank
which
you.
Is, not
Mad
Sam.
crush on
Sam is my least favorite Hobbit.
Yeah, he's a little whiny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I
like, shut
agree.
up, Sam. I hate you.
Thank you. No one ever says it. Haley calls me ridiculous for loving Pippin.
But here's the thing.
It is called Do You Believe?
Yes. And on the cover, which
Mira Sorvino, huh?
Yeah. That's the Academy Award winner.
Lee
And
Majors. What?
I will be posting a cover of this on Instagram. It gives a simple command. Experience the power of the cross.
Oh my god.
So we're going to do that next week.
I actually read that as, it says cross.
Mhm.
It looks like gross.
Experience the power of the gross.
Yes, that's what my brain just did.
There's some gross moments.
I'm actually looking forward to this.
Yeah.
This looks like something that was produced.
It was produced.
It's about damn time. It's been a minute.
Yeah, so
An actual movie with actual people.
as you can see on the cover as well, from the creators of God's Not Dead.
Awesome.
So that's how you know it's good.
A favorite.
A favorite for everybody. And as always, remember, if you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast app or service, and tell your friends about us any way that you can. Tell your boss. Tell your
Pilot.
You know what? Do tell your pilot. Because we need the attention. And links to everything are in the description of this episode, and you can also find a link to a website there where you can send us a comment or a question so that we can have a mailbag. But as always, that's all I have to say. You have anything else you want to add at the end?
I have nothing, Josh.
Whoa.
I'm done.
Well, then thank you so much for
Thanks,
listening.
guys.
We love you.
We love you a lot.
Bye.